May 2nd, 2023. The last video that I'm uploading where I talk about retired George P. pretending to be my boyfriend. Everybody starts, as soon as the case starts, that Karen had a rich boyfriend that takes care of her. Nobody's allowed to say a word to her. And I thought, I don't have a boyfriend. And it was weird. I went into interviews and they're like, you really need to have that rich boyfriend. And they were talking about him. Okay? Up north. And then I go other places and they said, Karen's got a rich boyfriend. Even when I moved out in 19, isn't that rich guy's girlfriend? I didn't have a boyfriend. Okay? Even in 19 and 20, I was working at that bank. I go out to lunch. That's Will's girlfriend. He's an older, shy guy. He thinks she's beautiful. He's too afraid to meet her. And he has all the guys watch her to make sure she's okay. And he's too shy to stop by. Isn't that sweet? They talked about him into 21. Okay. Places I go, even up north, everywhere I went, talked about my rich boyfriend. It's retired George P. See, that's what serial rapists do. They're victims. That they're drugging, beating, raping, and the victim don't know who it is. What they do is they tell themselves that they are their boyfriend or their husband, so they can justify them violating him. Well, he's breaking in and stalking me for Dave, like Dave told Danny on the 15th or 16th of April, 2023. He said, I don't know why that guy confessed, where Eric came in November 18, 22, 2 to 6 p.m. by the hair salon in Walmart 62. They have his confession. All the tapes before were me and not her. Was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, Took full responsibility. Ha, 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 ha. They had got him high and had him come in and confess and framed him. If somebody has him in jail, let him out. Dave on the 23rd. Danny had, or on April 15th or 16th of 23. Danny, after about 4:35 in the afternoon, my car's bugged and it goes into the case. Dave's phone's tapped from the case. Okay? I go to leave my daughter-in-law Jen, her mom's memorial where she had passed away, about 4:35 in the afternoon. I go to leave my car where I've been trying to let my kids slowly learn what happened to me. Okay? Shay and Gabe, my grandson and his girlfriend, walk up to Danny and Jen and and their brother after their mother's memorial service. Said, I heard what she said to Shay. None of this is funny. He said, I know, I called my dad. And my dad said he didn't know why that guy confessed. He actually hired some guy named Pete on his own to be taping her unaware, and he was the only one doing it to her. My God. Whereas being beat, fake sodium pentothal reports, they were date rape, drugging me, telling me, say weirdo stuff, photoshopping, shower scene. It was my husband at the time hiring this guy to frame me if I didn't die. I had bruises, I had infected private areas, swollen. I could hardly even go to the bathroom. And they were raping me, and they admitted they raped me. They admitted they had fake sodium pentothal reports where they were drugging me, and I was throwing up, and whatever they gave me made my heart race. I couldn't breathe after it wore off. I had bruises all over. And that's where they were supposed to have date rape drugged me and told me to say something. You sleepwalk, just like Eric. Came in, ha, ha, ha. They got him high and told him come confess. He didn't do it. It was retired George P. from the Riverland Courthouse. It was him beating and raping me all summer long. Photoshopping the shower scene on his own. Dave confessed to Danny on April 15th or 16th, 23, that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was him doing it. He set up. She could never get money out of it. He doesn't even have anything in missile. This is where it's rich. He's a retired judge. He knew it would be a severe Fourth Amendment violation. Could never be looked or listened to. But he took Dave's money to stalk me. He took Dave's money to break in and date rape, drug me, and tell me to say weirdo stuff. Photoshop shower scenes. Trying to frame me. knowing it wouldn't be admissible. Then he breaks in and he rapes me. They rape me. They beat me under drugs. He was raping me. That's why I was infected there. Had bruises, throwing up, headaches. Oh, I got treated for all this for the doctor. And they didn't know what was wrong with me. When you put that somebody was roofing me and beating me and raping me, it all comes together. Oh my God, she did have all those signs. See what I mean? He can't hire a man to stalk me. It's a severe Fourth Amendment violation. He took that job knowing nothing would be admissible. He's a retired judge. He'd get arrested. Stalked me. Broken date, raped on me. So I'd be sleepwalking. There's over 300 drugs and combinations of the different ones that will make you sleepwalk for 4 to 6 hours. They're called amnesia drugs, date rape drugs. That's how they get girls out of the restaurants, bars. They willingly go with them. Willingly have sex with them. Totally under their control. And with no memory. You know what happens with serial rapists? They tell people that's their wife or their girlfriend to justify their violating that person. They become emotionally attached to somebody who's getting violated and doesn't know who it is. See, they have talked about my rich boyfriend for years. And they called him Karen's Will. Well, they kept saying Karen's Will taped her before. Will wasn't involved until I called the FBI. It was retired Judge Pete. He was the one telling everybody it was my rich boyfriend. Nobody's to say a word to her. And he told all the guys, even in bikers gangs, was for me. That's Will's girlfriend. We all know he likes her, and he's just too shy to talk to her. That's what serial rapists do. He took that job knowing nothing would be admissible. So he stalked me. So he could drug me, beat me, rape me, and have a side little playmate that would know who was being violated and what was happening to him. He's that sick, knowing it wouldn't be admissible. He's part of that human trafficking gang, the Florida plates over here, the Detroit boys, the Kingsmen. He's part of that drug cartel that's stealing on people out of this area to kill them. That's where they got all those drugs. Him and his family's not fine. I've met so many people that have lost family members that were taken or murdered. Other people almost grabbed. And other people seeing that white van with that guy in it. That agent let that guy get away. See, that's where they pulled the recording of me trying to tell that agent that guy told on me at the church. Now, either the agent was in on it with him. And he did tell him, and he talked to Dave personally, because that's one of the things he told Danny. He said some agent went up to that church and was asking him about the threats online. Said he was looking into it on his own. Okay? The only agent. He even talked to Dad and told him that. So when I tried to tell Will somebody was up there telling on me, he called me a liar. Dave confessed that he talked to that agent. He's seen him. An officer already ratted him out November 6/22 that agent went and told on me, that they seen an agent tell on me, before I called that one back. Now, either the real Will from the FBI was in on it, or Pete dressed up like an agent with a fake badge. Because he still should have listened to me. Some guy had walked by my apartment a couple nights ago. I listened to that recording of her talking to the agent. She tried to tell me he wouldn't have it. It's called obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. It's illegal. You have to take a victim or a witness or informant statement, if you believe it or not, follow through. It's a Detroit kidnapper. It's Department of Justice 1729. It's 5 to 20 year sentence for doing that. See, where I told him that guy threatened to knife me. I told him he tried to kidnap me before. He wouldn't listen. Have Terry, with her permission, taping her of seeing the attempted kidnapping. Same person that took Marlisa's niece and killed Lori's family member before. They all have the same story. I was talking to this other girl that came in for training. She had seen somebody that actually said that they seen that guy in the white van stalking people. My DM almost got taken from him. And from the big truck guys that are involved too. See, we got all the same story. Same people. And they're the big human trafficking gang drug traders in this area. Stealing people to sell them. He had the biggest case in the world in front of him. And he let a serial killer get away. Did you know if there was a camera by the bench? It wasn't my place to know that. It was his place to find that camera. And if he couldn't find the camera, figure out who he is who threatened to knife me. And the Pizza Hut lady getting paid to watch me. He had people looking for the What a Shame guy. Like a Camp PD officer, when I try to tell him what's going on, it's not a big deal. Just keep reporting it and we'll keep pulling cameras. We'll eventually get him. It wasn't a big deal. He made it a big deal because he didn't want that guy. He didn't want me to say that I seen that guy up there. Was that him? Or was he in it with retired Judge Pete and Dave? See, Dave said he talked to him that night when I walked off. Do you realize how illegal this is? That means he defrauded me and the government of money on purpose. You can't just walk out on a case. Huh? I tried to tell them they already knew. And they did. Confessed to Annie on the 15th or 16th. Everybody's been talking from North Canton to Massillon about Dave ratting out retired Judge Pete and Will. Been talking about it since the 16th. And the 17th, the next day. Why haven't they arrested him? Fourth Amendment, you have the right to be safe and secure in your own home. It's illegal to have set up on cameras and stalk somebody. It's stalking. It's a severe Fourth Amendment violation. Police and agencies can only be in a home under threat of life with statements. You can't hire a stalker to stalk your wife. You go to jail. Can't hire a man to break in and drug her up, lie you have sodium pentothal reports and your date rape drugging her so she's sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. She's showing up with bruises in the infected private area, not knowing what's wrong with her, throwing up. Does he have marks all over? Everybody's seen, almost passing out in front of the neighbors because she's been roofied the hell out of. Huh? That poor victim is not in trouble. And then them date rape drugging me so I'm sleepwalking, telling me to say weirdo stuff. Got 2 witnesses in my phone and about 10 that went to the police on the photoshopping of the shower scene and the date rape drug confessions. He knew it wouldn't be admissible, and he still did it so he could stalk me, drug me, beat me, and rape me, and then start telling everybody it was my boyfriend. It's so sick. Now, where the hell did Agent go? I didn't think he was real, even though he listed me in form at $5,000 a month, diplomatic immunity for life for working this case, okay? And then threatened me if I told someone, and I already told them they knew, okay? And then when he had David threatened Dixie and the baby and had a list, I Googled where he was, and I found him. A lady answered the phone and yelled out, Willie's got a list. I'm working on it, okay? And then when I seen the guy right before Christmas 18, the guys that followed me would turn off on 224, and I'd drive the last 10 miles home. He was down the street from my house. I looked up, and there he was. He went, just as about as shocked as I was. He took off through the side woods. I swerved around him. I should have run. No, I swerved around. I would not do that. I swerved around him, hit the garage door opener, and got in my garage, closed the garage door, ran in and called him. Willie's down the street from me. Okay? His secretary answered again. Willie's down the street. Okay? He took off through the side woods. Do you know what happened within a few weeks? The gunshot night, and they broke in that old lady's apartment. They were setting it off. Do you know how many times they could have got him that he was around me? It was ridiculous. Now, whose fault is all this? The agent that left me in high danger. The agent that didn't pull me out like he promised. I almost got shot in the head driving. Within the first 45 days. I got on 62. Dave knew I was leaving early. A red van pulls up. I look over, and the guy's lifting a gun towards my head, pulling the trigger back. I slam, I tuck, I swerve. He tries to run me off the road. We're all over that highway together. I'm slamming, talking. It was talk about like a 007. It was crazy. He's still trying to shoot me. He's all over the road together. And I mean, and I'm begging God to help me. Don't let him shoot me. I didn't do anything wrong. What's going on? And I'm slamming, God help me. And I mean, we're all over that highway. And as we're going in and out and he's trying to run me off the road, I finally get away from him and I slam and I finally get stopped and he keeps going down the road. I pull over, rivers of tears, rivers of tears. It took me a long time to get it together. I was supposed to have coffee with John. I finally got myself together. Dave had already threatened to kill everything I loved in life. Realized Karen will kill her. Okay? I thought you'll go through me first. So I finally got the coffee. I went over to John's and we went for a walk and took his dog, Gus, for a walk. And he started eating his leash. He's a weird dog. And John's like, I'm pacing around. I want to scream and fall to my knees. The bad cars are driving by his house. And he's like, Mom, I got God's spirit in my life. I'm like, good to see it. And I'm pacing and I want to scream and fall to my knees. God, where are you? And he was back in the moment when I looked over. And he's like, Mom, why don't you talk to my pastor? And I said, a talk won't fix this. And he looked at me and he said, what about the story of Job, Mom? I said, somebody should have took a rock and beat that man in the head. And I'm pacing and I can't calm down. Somebody had almost killed me. I want to scream. We finally go back in the house and somebody had laced my coffee while we were out. We sat down and we're talking. He's like, Mom, do you ever think about coming back to church? And I said, I don't like churches. He said, churches are fine and good unless they go rogue. And for a moment, he looked at me and our eyes met. And he mumbled and walked off. I had drank part of my coffee and all of a sudden I started feeling dizzy. I barely made it home without passing out. Went and slept all day. They had laced my coffee and when I went to leave, the drug dealer's trucks were down the street. A few days later in Walmart, they're walking around. She almost got shot in the head driving. We got to pull her out. The guy running it won't let you. You have to leave her in high danger. It's illegal to leave someone in high danger. They're around the front of the store by the cash register talking how they were leaving me in high danger. And they knew I almost got shot in the head. That's how not funny this is. My whole family spoke highly of me. June 23rd to July 4th of 21 by the Pena. 2 investigators been working the case since the beginning. They come in and they said, what are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never heard anyone. And the girls that dated the drug dealers, oh my goodness, the boys had a drugger to make her say that stuff. Nobody mentioned again about those tapes right in front of them. Okay. In February and March of 23, I'm in the hair salon. The same investigators come in. We told these people, stay out of it. We interviewed her family a long time ago. She's never heard anyone, and nobody's ever seen anything. And they're by the hair salon bitching. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload this.